What up? What up? What up?
Yo, yo,
We
what's
here.
Gucci?
A little different
What's
today.
Gucci? I know,
It's a
trying
little,
something different.
yeah, that's exactly what we want. We just want to continue to go live for you
Mhm.
in every way possible. We're doing a live Q&A of all Fantasyland football, or just not Fantasyland football, but Fantasyland football stuff.
Yep.
Still said it again. So drop your
Uh,
questions.
yeah, drop your questions. What's up, Tommy? What's up, Gator fan? Honestly, there's no expectations for this live stream, really. There's no agenda. We just wanted to jump on and let you guys answer some questions. I know during the live mock drafts, you guys have questions and we aren't able to fully break them down because we're covering the mock as well.
Mm-hmm.
So drop your questions. I mean, this is just time to hang, time to chill. We're gonna do this more often if people like it. So yeah. What's up, Tommy? What's up, Gator fan? Tommy says, in a standard, let's just get straight to it. Why don't we? In a standard PPR draft, do you believe it's a good strategy to go running back, tight end, wide receiver with your first four picks? What's up, Mark? Welcome to
What's
the
good,
stream.
brother?
In standard PPR, sorry, I'm confused because when we say standard and then we say PPR, my my mind is like completely separating from itself. But in a PPR draft, do you believe it's a good strategy to go running back, tight end, wide receiver with your first four picks? You know, I think I'll just answer this first. I think it's hard to say exactly follow a certain script, um, because it really depends on how the draft falls, right?
Yeah, 100%.
If no wide receivers go off the board and you're at your second turn and Tyreek Hill is there in a PPR redraft league, you should consider taking Tyreek Hill. If, because you're saying I'll take a tight end with my third pick there. If you come to your third pick and the best tight end is Noah Fant and you're in the third round, you don't want to take that. So you have to see how the board falls. I think it's good to have an idea of the guys you like in the tiers that you will be drafting. That is more important than anything. Who are the guys that you love in the tier where you're drafting for that pick? That will really change how you draft if you go tier based drafting. Um, what's up, Mike? What's up, Trev? Um,
What's happening, y'all? Everyone that's joining in right now, we're doing a live Q&A. Just drop any fantasy related questions. We're going to be talking about it, mock draft
there's
questions,
literally
draft
like no
questions.
agenda for this, so you can
Yeah,
literally ask us
you can
anything if you
access
wanted to.
anything,
But
and we're just here to create conversation, just to hang with the community.
also, if you
Um,
could drop a like for us, that would mean a lot.
yeah.
That's just going to help us reach more people with this Q&A. So if you could drop a like for us, subscribe if you're not subscribed.
Mm-hmm.
Drop any Qs. Mike says, "What's up, guys? Love the show. That means a lot. Thanks so much, man." Trev says, "Cheers, cheers, boys." We got a question from Danny, or maybe it's just a comment. I like to write down four names per round that I like in terms of ADP and mock drafts, then see how it falls. That's really smart, Badaki.
Yeah. I mean, you have to go into the draft knowing the guys that you like. For example, a guy that I went into the draft no matter where I was, if I had anywhere after five, the fifth pick, I think Cam Akers was my guy. Anywhere before that, it
In
would,
redrafts, right?
yeah, in redraft. Anything before that, obviously, I would be highly considering the top four. But anything after five, it was Cam Akers, and because I knew he was going to be available for me, just depending on where I fell. So all depends on your draft position as well. I think that's a huge, huge part
Totally.
of
It definitely
what
does depend
happened.
on that. I think that's really smart though from Danny to write down four names per round that you like.
Yeah.
Even if, let's say you're drafting at the two spot or something, you draft and on the turn you're like, these are three guys that I'd be happy with if they were there. It
hmm
kind of helps you stay
I
mentally in
mean,
the game.
honestly, that's kind of what you did in our last Dynasty startup. Like, you knew
Yeah.
that these running backs were going to come to you. First guy you had in
hmm
your head was Kyle Pitts. You loved him. You knew that that was going to be a guy that can be on your team for a long time. And that's what you did.
Yeah.
You fall in love with people when you do mock draft, and it's like, man, he
Yes.
actually has to be on my team.
I know, and I see some questions. We're definitely gonna get to them. I just want to quickly highlight Kyle Pitts, guys. If, in a dynasty league, if anyone here plays dynasty, you will never get Kyle Pitts at a lower price than right now.
Right.
Whether you've done your startups or you haven't, I drafted him at the 3-1. A lot of people are going to tell you that's too early. But
Mm,
think about it. If you're going 5 years into the future, I just want to quickly highlight this for anyone who it might be helpful for. You will not get, let's say Kyle Pitts doesn't meet expectations, or let's say he just has an average rookie year. Let's say he puts up 65 receptions, but has 6 touchdowns and 700 yards. I think he could do better than that this year. But let's just say that for example, right?
right.
If that was to happen, there's no way you're going to go into next year and get him cheaper than you're getting him this year. In Dynasty, he's my tight end one. Happy to reply to any questions about that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we got a lot of questions. This is awesome.
Nah, that's what's up.
Um,
I'm just
Drop a
reading
like
ahead.
if you can. This is going to help us reach more people. But Badaki, what's the next question?
Nah, Brian King just saying, fund you guys while looking for Superflex Dynasty draft. Appreciate the recent draft. Cannot get on board with the fields. Love dope. Hey, Brian, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribe. But yeah, like we do mock
Actually,
drafts.
Badaki, there was someone who commented on our last Dynasty startup draft, and they said that you drafted terribly. And I think it's because you took Justin
Justin Fields.
Fields
Yeah.
with your second pick. But that was a strategy that you were going to try.
Yeah,
It's not
100%.
necessarily what you would have done in a real startup, right?
Yeah, no, it's a it's 100% not what I would have done. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat, which is just funny. But yeah, look, it's all love. It's all good. People don't like people. Like people think we're crazy that we have Saquon in our top five, and then they
Yeah.
kind of go
Which is
crazy.
funny to me, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Like,
definitely funny.
if Saquon is healthy, he is the best running back in the league.
It's just funny.
I mean, like, there's a lot of people who aren't going to like that. 19 people watching. You guys are awesome. Drop a like for us if you can. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. When you drop a like, that just supports us and it helps us reach more people. There are a ton of questions in the chat, so let's get to them. Appreciate the love, Brian. Trev says, just finished my Dynasty Superflex 12-man draft this weekend.
That's what's up.
Hell yeah, bro. Let us know who you got. Tommy said, last year I made a list of players I like. I might do the same thing this year. For example, I'm on Kelsey, but then I see Waller on my list. Yeah,
Right.
in redraft leagues, if I can get Kelsey in the second round anywhere, I'm probably doing it. And if I can get Waller in the third round anywhere, I'm probably doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I absolutely agree. I think tight ends, man, you need to have it on your team, and this is actually a good point. And obviously, tight ends has always been a really good point, but it's actually Daniel Ilioy that was like, man, tight ends, I need to get him.
Uh-huh.
And like, it's not that we didn't know that. It was just like, it actually just, at least for me, it fully like clicked. And I'm like, oh, I always get it. I always used to get a tight end late round for me.
I think like the strategy is always get one of the top three guys, but now it's a little bit different this year, I'll say, because it used to be get one of the top three guys or punt the
Yeah,
position entirely.
exactly.
It's a little bit different this year because there's actually a tier starting to form. It's the
Mm,
top three guys: Kelsey, Waller, Kittle. I will say Kittle should be the third of those guys this year. That's just my opinion.
okay.
Waller's gonna get a ton of targets, guys. And then there's a second tier where Andrews, T.J. Hawkinson, and Kyle Pitts are there. There's actually like 3 to 4 proper tiers this year, so
Mm.
it's definitely something you're gonna have to try in mock drafts and see where you can get people. Um, all right, boss man. Thanks guys for your questions. We're gonna answer all these. This is awesome to see all these questions. We didn't know if people would want this, but it's obvious that you guys
That's
do,
what
so
people
that's cool.
want. So it's all good.
Um, so Bossman said best second and third round running backs. I really like CEH and Eckler. I have the 101.
Right.
Hey guys, just so you know, because we have a lot of redraft followers and subscribers, and we also have a lot of dynasty. So when you ask us a question, make sure that you refer to the format of your league and the type of league. You know,
Mm-hmm.
PPR, half
Mm-hmm.
PPR, dynasty, whatever it is. Let us know so we can properly answer your question. I'm going to assume this is a redraft league. So the best second and third round running backs, Badaki. I know my favorite second round running back. You probably know who it is. It's Antonio Gibson. This is a guy who I've ranked as my RB8. I normally get him around RB13-ish, RB12-ish, and I just see massive upside for him this year. I think he takes the next step. I think J.D. McKissick is more and more pans out of this game plan, and they trust Antonio Gibson, who, by the way, was a wide receiver, who was learning the
Yeah.
running back position last year and still got 8 to 10 touchdowns. What about you, though? Who's a guy second and third round that stands out?
Yeah, I think it's actually the guy that he took, if I'm not mistaken. He likes Clyde. Bossman said he likes Clyde, and I love Clyde. I think he's going to come in. He's done one of the best offense in the NFL. I personally believe that, he had like a freshman slump, if that's a correct term. I just think that there was too many mouths to feed. They brought in Le'Veon Bell. There was all this talk about, Le'Veon Bell's going to get all these touches, but Clyde was on pace. Clyde was on pace to do something special, and that kind of got
Yeah.
disrupted by Le'Veon in
We
this
actually
whole
talked
offense.
about we talked about all those guys on our YouTube
Mm-hmm.
recently. Literally, if you want information about any of these guys going into their second year, wide receivers, running backs,
Mm-hmm.
quarterbacks, everything, it's all on our YouTube
Yeah.
page. We've made videos for every single individual players for you guys to kind of help you out this year.
Yeah. So
24 people watching. This is amazing. Can you
yeah,
please drop a
it's
like for us?
crazy.
Help us reach more people. Subscribe if you're not subscribed.
Mm-hmm.
This community is growing so fast, which is awesome to see. Sorry, I cut you off, Badaki.
No, yeah. I was about to say we have a lot of people. It's amazing. We're really excited. Make sure you join the Discord, and we have Dynasty and Redraft leagues on our Patreon. If you want to play Dynasty or Redraft with us, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/fantasylandfam.
Which all that's in the description of this video.
So
Sorry, I just see a ton of questions. I want to make sure we get to them. Daniel Ilioy says you took him at the 212. Yeah, I was at the 1-1 in a dynasty. I did take Kyle Pitts at the 212. You're right, it wasn't the 3-1. Tommy said Superflex Dynasty PPR. Who would you rather, Tony or Bateman? I'm gonna say Bateman all the way. It's no question for me. Badaki, do you have a different opinion?
Nah, it's Bateman all the way for sure. No doubt about it.
Tony's a weird guy, man. Tony could be a flash in the pan, or he could be a really good player. He's very difficult, but I know Bateman is the more talented wide receiver.
I don't think Tony
and he's going to get the more targets.
Yeah, I don't think Tony's going to be the guy this year. I believe he's going to be in the years to come with either Daniel Jones, whatever quarterback. He is the Sterling Shepard, that smaller, faster, quicker, more agile, more of a gadget guy that I believe he can be utilizing our offense a lot better, in my opinion.
Trev says, I like this boss, man. Got Eckler in the 5th this week, and my dudes were super low on him in Dynasty. Oh, God, I almost killed myself just there. I
man.
Swallowed a burp.
Goodness.
I love tea. Hey, if there's any green tea companies out there that want to somehow sponsor us, I don't even know how that would work. I probably drink like 3 to 4 green teas a day. It's definitely not the right amount I should be drinking, but it makes me feel nice and warm.
Yeah, nice and cozy, doesn't it?
Nice and cozy. I would say Eckler in the 5th is probably proper value. We are in redrafts excited about Eckler. I think in Dynasty, it is a little bit worrying because he's got 3 years on his contract, if I'm not mistaken. And when that contract is over, he'll be 29. So I'm thinking in a redraft, in a Dynasty league, you want to trade Eckler after this year. You kind of don't want to wait for the hill to start, coming. You want to trade him while he's 100%. On that peak. So good this year. I would probably look at trading him next year. And the last thing I'll say about Eckler is Eckler's great pass catching back, but they are continually bringing in those workhorse backs, trying to see if any of them stick. Who was it last year? Joshua Kelly, Larry Roundtree. This year they had Justin Jackson. So it's not as if they are excited to give Austin Eckler the workload for the future. Right now, yes, but they're constantly looking for a guy who could potentially take his role. So as most teams should, as they should.
Yeah.
Gator fan, do you want to ask his question?
Yeah. Gator fan in PPR redraft between I don't get it. Claypool, Lockett, Jacobs, Connor. Who do you feel most?
Quartet.
Okay.
If you guys listen to the podcast, you'll know Badaki.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Badaki and words don't go together.
I'm terrible at English, but it's okay.
And that's okay.
Claypool, Lockett, Jacobs, Connor. Who do you feel most and least comfortable drafting? For me, right off the bat, it's Connor. Least comfortable drafting.
Yeah.
Most comfortable drafting probably has to be Jacobs for me.
And I'm assuming that's Josh Jacobs, and my answer would be the same.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Josh Jacobs in redraft and Dynasty, guys. Like, don't be fading Josh Jacobs because of Kenyon Drake. Did Kenyon Drake show you that he was an amazing running back last year? Me? No. If he showed you that, then fade Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
I see this more as what does John Gruden want to do? He wants to run the ball, and he wants to emulate what the Cleveland Browns are doing. A lot of teams are trying to do this, get that 1-2 punch in the backfield. So I'm not worried about Josh Jacobs. I think he's going to see plenty of targets. This is a guy who finished as the RB8 last year. So don't fade Josh Jacobs, guys. Yeah, I'm really excited about him. I took him in a Dynasty league.
Yeah, I'm not scared of JJ. I'm actually really excited about him. Shout out to Luke. England won last night, which was a big win against Germany. Stood up a little bit late to kind of see the halftime there, but wasn't a score. Tommy Gunn, grade the trade. 14 team Superflex Dynasty tight end premium. I traded away Jameis Winston, Gerald Everett, and Laviska Shenault. Which side won? Okay.
Tommy Gunn.
I traded away Jameis Winston, Gerald Everett, and Laviska Shenault. Which side won? I mean, for Darren Waller, for tight end Darren Waller. So I was just trying to.
Oh, okay.
I was like, who did you trade away?
You just gave him away, bro. You lost. You lost the trade. For Darren Waller.
I think that
Superflex
is
Dynasty. I think that's pretty even value, to be honest.
I was gonna say I think that's pretty good. You know, Jameis is
especially
nothing.
tied in premium.
Gerald
no, Jameis could be good, man. Jameis could be good. It depends if they trust him or not. That's really the big determining factor. But I would say tight end premium, which I believe it's different in each league, but that's probably 2 points per reception for a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Waller will be amongst the top 5 most valuable players in that league.
Yeah.
So
I think it was great.
Yeah. Daniel Ilio says Fields is absolutely a second-round pick. Anyone who got Fields after the second round literally robbed everyone else. He's referring to himself because we just did a dynasty league with him, and he took Fields, I think, in the 4th, which is crazy that he fell that far. By the way, that's a good time to plug our leagues. We have fantasy redraft and dynasty leagues that you can play with us and our followers. They're filling up. It's really fun. We put a lot of time and effort into these leagues. We're going to give you a bonus episode with them. We're going to give you our rankings. We're going to give you unlimited advice from us, personal replies. The link is in our description. It's literally the Patreon link that is the first link in that description. So check it out, guys, and feel free to ask any questions. Sean Brinchley, what's your thoughts on Javion Hawkins or any other undrafted rookies? Is there going to be another James Robinson? I'll let you answer because I know that you like Javion Hawkins. I'll just quickly say, James Robinson was so rare. That doesn't happen.
No.
That almost never, ever happens that someone gets that workload as an undrafted rookie in their first year. But you like Javion Hawkins. Yeah? I mean, is he a guy in redraft you're looking at? Probably not. What about Dynasty? I don't know.
Looking redrafts, I'm probably not looking at him. I think he'll go undrafted a lot of redrafts unless you're somebody like me that will take the very last pick with Javion Hawkins. But I doubt it. Even then, I doubt I'll take him. But in Dynasty, I think it's something that could happen. Why? Is because I don't believe Mike Davis is going to be able to withstand that workload for the 17 games coming into this season. He's never really had a huge workload. He only had one game or one season where he had a workload, and that was back in Seattle. Obviously, last year was a little bit different. In my opinion, I think he's probably going to play 7 games where he's starting, and then 7 to 8 games depending on this offense, and then Javion Hawkins is going to come in and take some touches and take some.
See, that's interesting. I'm not sure that that's confirmed because I don't know that he's even the RB2 in that backfield this year.
And you're absolutely right, but I think my thought process about it is that I think Javion Hawkins will be the RB2, and then I'll be taking a shot. Obviously, that all could potentially change. If Javion Hawkins is on the roster and it's clear that whatever running back that's in that backfield, I don't even know. I need to look that up.
I'll just quickly add to this, with the whole James Robinson scenario, guys. Again, I said it, that is super rare. It doesn't happen. But you also have to follow the trends that led to that decision. There was a great running back in Leonard Fournette in Jacksonville who had 1 year left on his contract still, and they cut him. They completely cut him, got no value for him. So it wasn't as if, undrafted rookies just stepped into a team and had that role. A lot of events had to happen for everything, for the stars to align, if you will. You have to follow those trends this offseason. News is so important throughout camps. You have to take some things with a grain of salt, but if people get cut, expect people to still get cut in those kind of positions. And that's when you should kind of start to follow those trends.
And that's where as we get closer to the season and as we kind of understand how these offenses are going to be, working, we're going to be giving you all the information. Like, we're going to get reports that, it would be crazy, but let's say James Robinson is traded. Etienne is going to skyrocket, even though he's already skyrocketed and he's like one of the best backs coming out of the draft. But imagine James Robinson is gone. That means Etienne is going to
Yeah,
get
it's just
all
not
the.
gonna happen though, man.
I'm just saying as
Like
an example.
teams
This
don't
is this
trade for
is
running
really
backs, but yeah,
this is really extra.
hypothetically.
But like, just imagine he was gone, and then like everyone's like, okay, well, I'm comfortable. I know Etienne's gonna get all the touches and all the passing work. So then everyone's gonna be all on top of.
Well, another good example is a lot of people were worried about Antonio Gibson last year, but then they cut Adrian Peterson,
Mm-hmm.
and the floodgates are wide open. We're gonna answer every question, guys. I promise you. We just want to make sure we take this time and answer all these questions properly.
Yeah.
And we're blown away that this many people wanted to ask questions. We literally thought we'd be on here and no one would come hang out because it's not a mock draft. But this is sick. Drop a like if you can. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. The next question is from Trev Gordon. I had 102, took Kyler, then AJ, and Zeke on the way back. Backed up that with Sanders and Eckler afterwards. So I believe this is Dynasty, guys. Just make sure that if you're going to ask us a question, I think this is just a comment. But if you're going to ask us a question or anything, make sure you tell us, is it Dynasty? Is it redraft? Is it PPR standard, half PPR? You know, let us know so we can answer the questions the best way possible. But if this is Dynasty, you've got Kyler, AJ Brown, Zeke, Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler. I mean, that's pretty good. I think you're definitely entering a win now mode with those running backs. Zeke isn't going to get another contract like he had. Sanders, will he get another contract? Maybe. Eckler definitely won't. So it's a really good team. But your window is now from this year to the next 3 years, really. You know, you can trade guys, but that's what it looks like after the draft for me.
Yeah.
Do you see it the same way?
You know, if this is redraft, like Zach said, I really like this team. I'm starting to like Sanders.
Dynasty.
He's starting to go up into my rankings. Yeah, if it's Dynasty, then I think still Sanders is still going up my rankings. But yeah, I think you still have Kyler, AJ, and Sanders, which are technically three really young guys. Zeke obviously is up there. How many years does Zeke have on his contract?
Zeke, I believe he has an insane contract, dude. I'm telling you, like, he's getting paid until he's like 31, I think. His contract's so dumb. It was terribly made by the Cowboys. I mean, for Zeke, it's great. But for the Cowboys, they kind of just, I don't know what the hell they were doing. But I will say there's opportunities for them to get out of that contract as well.
Yeah, it's after
Show
next
us.
year.
Do you have it up? Do you have Zeke's contract up?
Yeah. Let me just put it up really fast for a second.
Okay.
So Zeke's contract, hey. So Zeke, obviously, if you can't see it, I can definitely zoom in. There we go. So he has the out after the 2023, potential out of 2023. Yeah. So like in reality, let's think about it. We're here now, right? I think they keep him until 2023 unless he has a massive downfall this year and then they test him next year and be like, is he really going to stay?
Yeah.
You know, like
no one's guaranteed. Like, you know, this is the thing about contracts. We were able to connect with a salary cap specialist this offseason, which was really cool. His name's Anad. He's actually just an awesome guy. But he was talking to us basically saying the only money that's actually guaranteed to you is the money you sign with your signing bonus. Everything else teams can get out of. So, you know, looking at a contract, it definitely matters to look at the guaranteed money and the dead cap. But what's more important is to look at what was the guaranteed money at signing, because that's all the money that's actually guaranteed. There's so many opportunities for teams to get out. I would bet my house that there is no way that Zeke is on this contract until he's 31. Like, I feel like 29 is the max. There's no way Zeke is on this contract past age 29.
So, like,
come on.
If that's the case, then in Dynasty, you should be really trying to sell him this year.
I would say,
because next year is like, oh, you know, like if he doesn't have as good of a good bounce back year with
depends on your team. It depends on your team. Yeah, if you win now, maybe keep him for this year.
Okay. Say less.
Yeah. Anyway, that was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Let's keep answering these. We're gonna answer all your questions. This is awesome. I love that everyone has so many questions. By the way, just a quick little plug.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, we were able to answer everyone's questions like through our DMs for free. But it got to the point where we were literally answering hundreds of DMs a day. We work our other jobs, we have other families, and it was just too much to keep up with. We want to prioritize those people who want that advice for us in those DMs back and forth real quick. Hey, this just happened. What do you think? So we've offered that as a tier on our Patreon.
Yeah.
Link is in our description to find our Patreon, but it's the Close Friends Plus tier, and above all those tiers are going to give you that personal DM replies from us. Literally, we set you up on Discord, and you ask a question, we reply back. Hey, I got this trade. Hey, what do you think about it? Hey, we got you. The only reason we can't do everyone is just because we have our own lives, we have our other jobs, we have our family, and it's just hard to keep up with. But we want to prioritize you guys and the people who want that help from us. So that is kind of the best way we figured out that we could do that. So
yeah, and
feel free to ask any questions
just
about that.
In addition to that, like if you do sign up for the leagues, you get that on as part of the package, I guess you can say. So
yeah, you get a nice little package.
So I think that's a good good little note to say. So if you do sign up to any of the leagues, you will have unlimited Q&As, or not Q&As, but unlimited Q&As at any time for both of us on our Discord channel.
Yeah.
Regarding
but when we're live, we've said this, we're going to answer all your questions live no matter what. We'll do our best. If we grow to a point where we can't, then we won't, but right now we're going to answer all the questions on the live streams always. So again, guys, we're answering all your questions right now. I promise you, if you've commented a question, you haven't heard the response, we're going to reply to them. Drop a question, we'll get to it. Tommy says tight ends are very valuable. They are. You're right. Gator says, what are the last couple of running backs you'd be comfortable with taking as an RB1 before you taking an elite wide receiver instead? That's a great question because it is tier-based drafting. In redraft, the last guy I'm comfortable with is maybe an Austin Eckler. And then I'm starting to look at, like, is Diggs on the board? You know what I mean? What do you think, Badaki?
For me, it would be Clyde.
Okay.
I have Clyde as RB12. So, let's say I'm at the 112. I'm going to take... Well, it's kind of hard to say. But, Clyde is my limit. And then, depending on where I'm at in the draft, it really depends if I'm going to take that wide receiver.
Okay.
Hopefully.
All right. Next question.
Yeah.
What's the next question here?
I think. Oh no. I think. Bossman Dynasty half point PPR. Okay. Eddie, how do you guys feel about OBJ PPR redraft?
Question. This guy is really hard to gauge, isn't he? I feel better about him in redraft than Dynasty. And I say that because, I have him in a Dynasty league. He was just dropped so far that I felt like the value was there to take him. In a redraft league, let's see where I have OBJ ranked for me. OBJ is my wide receiver 29. I think he comes back, and I think they figured something out without him. I think he's going to figure out a more solidified role in this offense. I still think he's going to have the same burst. We've seen many guys, specifically wide receivers, tear their ACL and come back even better. Cooper Kupp's the most recent example I can think of. It doesn't always happen, but I guess the reason I say that is to alleviate any worries you might have. He's still in the run-first offense, so he's definitely not a top 20 wide receiver. But I feel comfortable with taking him as my wide receiver 29, 30, 31. Do you feel the same, or are you a little bit?
I have him a little bit lower. I have him 35. I think right now, because I have a lot of the rookies over, OBJ. Like I have T. Higgins, Michael Pittman.
T. Higgins isn't a rookie.
Well, sorry. I mean,
you mean sophomores?
Sophomores. T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, all those guys over. I'm taking OBJ in a spot where I think. I'm assuming for me that would be around like 7th round, maybe, 7th, 8th round. I think that I'm kind of hella lowballing him here, but I think it's great value in the middle, like towards the end of the draft, if that makes any sense. So,
yeah, okay. Gator fans said full PPR redraft. We did answer that question as if it was, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
Tommy says I played. By the way, guys, whoever's watching, drop a question. We're going to answer all these. And subscribe if you haven't. I played with people last year. It's the same people this year. It's PPR. Would that be considered redraft? I played with people last year. It's the same people this year. It's PPR. So I guess we'll just, because yeah, it can be a little bit confusing, right? There's a bunch of different ways to play. Redraft, the only term that you need to know for it to be a redraft league is if every year your league redrafts all the players, right? There's really so many ways to play, but I guess the main ones are redraft. You can keep the same league, but you redraft every single player goes into a pool, and every year you redraft them. The
Mm-hmm.
second one is a keeper league. You know, your league might determine, hey, we will keep two players from the draft last year. So you can choose two players to keep, and everyone else goes into a pool. And then Dynasty, obviously, you draft everyone in
Yeah.
a startup, and then you keep them and only do the rookies. So I hope that helps. We actually think because there's a lot of people who are learning Dynasty. It's relatively a new system. We were thinking about making a video series about what, because Fab is used often in Dynasty. What's Fab? What is a taxi squad?
Yeah.
Um, you know, how do rookie drafts work? Like, let us know if that's something you guys want, because we can do that. What's Mike's question
I
here?
actually just had a really good idea. Remind me.
Okay.
Actually, I need to text it out to you so before I forget. um,
Okay, you text it. I'll ask the next question. What are your guys' thoughts on drafting one of the rookie quarterbacks this year, and who stands out to you guys the most? Thanks, guys. Appreciate you, Mike. I just see your comment at the bottom. You said redraft. Make sure that when you guys ask a question, you say if it's redraft, dynasty, keeper, PPR, half PPR.
mhm.
Um, I think.
Sorry,
Uh,
Mike. Right? What are you guys' thoughts on drafting one of the rookie quarterbacks this year, and
I
who
think if you're
stands
gonna
out to
do
you
it,
the most?
you should do it with like your last pick. And it's just so hard to say because when you draft one of these rookies, see,
Yeah,
even drafting Justin Fields doesn't make much sense if they're really not going to start him
I
for like
think.
the first 5 games. Like
Yeah,
he would be a waiver pickup unless you want to waste a bench spot for five
I
weeks.
think for me, it will probably have to be in the middle of the
Trevor
round.
and Zach.
Yeah, in the middle of the rounds, probably like 7, 8 if
Nah,
they
no, 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 no,
fall.
no way in a redraft. Redraft, last pick, or like second last
I
pick.
mean, I don't think they will go last if somebody like if someone like a Trevor or a Zach. I don't think they'll go. But for me, it would definitely be Zach Wilson. I like Trevor Lawrence as well, no doubt about it. But I think Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence are the two top guys that could bring you some value as a rookie if you don't go with any of the top guys.
Hmm.
I think like for me, I think in
I
our
think
league,
in redraft leagues, because I don't feel like those guys go until the second to last round, or or the last round. So I don't think you're gonna have to get them any higher. But there's no hurt in taking one of these guys who is gonna start and just
I
see what
guess,
happens. Like
yeah,
if Zach Wilson pops off first week, you're like, oh, maybe I've got something. Let's
I
see.
guess
And
it's
if
like
Trevor Lawrence does it, so
I guess good comparison, if I can find a comparison, would be Andrew Luck. Where was he going in redrafts when he first came into the league? As the expectation of Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence is the next Andrew Luck. So
I
like
mean, dude,
that's
you're asking
crazy.
us to go back like 10 years in time.
I
I don't
know, which
know.
is crazy, but I
I
can't.
don't really know.
I'm not saying I'm
But
just saying like I feel like maybe we can kind of base it off of that.
typically, it does take a rookie quarterback a while to become fantasy relevant. Justin Herbert was the exception. Um, Tua is still figuring it out. I'm thinking about last year's quarterbacks. Joe Burrow was good. He wasn't great last year, but he showed signs to being good this year. Before that, I mean, RG3 was amazing if you're talking about that class, but it doesn't always work out. So, I mean, unless it's your second to last pick or your last pick, I'm not taking a rookie quarterback in a redraft league. It's just not worth it. You're going to be able to pick these guys off waivers with Fab, um, and you don't know when they're going to start. So you don't want to waste a bench spot. Like you could have gotten a running back, wide receiver, tight end who popped off in the first weeks with your last picks instead, and they would be more valuable at that point. Anyway, I think we're spending too much time on that question. I hope that's helpful.
I'm
Um,
actually really interested to see where he got drafted, but I don't think I can find it.
you're like, this guy's like, when did we draft these rookies? You're like, let's look at 10 years ago.
Nah, but like I mean, I think that for me it will personally help. I don't know about anyone
Okay.
else, but there's
I
no
mean,
way
10 years ago is a long
I
time
don't think
ago.
I
The
can go
league
back
looked a
10.
lot different.
Yeah, I don't think I can go back 10 years.
Uh, It's Toxic says, is Drake the best artist of all time? He said yes. Drizzy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout out to
yeah.
Drizzy. He'll be on the show on every Monday
Every
night.
time, because you say look on the podcast sometimes, you're like, look. And I'll be like, look. I like Drake. I like Drizzy. Is he the best of all time? Up to
Tommy,
interpretation.
immediate
He's
answer,
one of my
no.
favorites of all time. He's one of my favorites. I don't know if he's the best.
I mean, who's the best then?
Who's the best artist of all time? Wouldn't it be like Michael Jackson
I mean,
or
maybe like
Beatles or something?
in the rap R&B genre.
Oh, if we're talking pop stars, I think Drake is like pretty high up there, like hip hop pop stars. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's get back to questions that matter.
Nolan
Nolan Brown.
Yeah, pick one dynasty. Pick one dynasty. Noah Fant, Adam Troutman, Dallas Goddard. Noah Fant for me.
Yeah, it's Noah Fant.
Mm-hmm.
I think then Goddard, then Adam Troutman. We have covered Troutman as a sleeper guy, but yeah, out of those three, the other two have very clear pathways.
Yeah, I agree.
PPR redraft, Cook or Saquon. I think we're both going to say Dalvin Cook.
Correct.
Do you feel the same way? Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate the Eckler tip. Got you, Trev. Cook, no question about it. Yes, huge.
Drake over
Kieran
Edmonds.
says Drake over Edmonds. Yeah, no, that's true. Definitely. Drake is a better running back than Edmonds. And I think Edmonds is being way overdrafted this year. I mean, that backfield's going to be disgusting. James Conner and Austin Eckler. And when I say disgusting, I don't mean in a good way. Like, it's just going to be really, really bad.
Yeah.
And Kyler Murray is going to score more rushing touchdowns than any running back. Probably. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's a hard avoid for me for both of those guys in redraft leagues.
Yeah, I agree. Double I got Fields in the 5th, 5.2. Yeah, that's crazy getting him in the 5th. In our dynasty startup, it's toxic. How do you guys feel about Kenneth Gainwell? There's potential value.
Yep.
You know, if Miles doesn't work out, if there's talks that he can already be part of this offense coming into this year, you know, kind of like a split back work. He can be a pass catching back. He's kind of a small guy. He's a gadget guy. So it just really depends on how much he's utilized. In Dynasty, I think we like Kenneth Gainwell with the potential of seeing him not break out, but having opportunity. So, but in redrafts, I think he'll go undrafted.
Probably. He's kind of a, you know, if you get Miles Sanders, you might want to grab the handcuff because Sanders has had a history of injuries. So that might be smart. But he's a good gadget guy. He could definitely carve out like a JD McKissick seems disrespectful. Because he hasn't been great for most of his career. He's just kind of revitalized it. It was a good, like, man.
I feel like the guy that's coming into my head is a James White.
Okay, yeah, I'll pay that.
Yeah, I can kind of see them in comparison.
That's actually a really good comp. You're good at comps.
Tommy Gunn. Do you guys like Dynasty? Do you guys like the dynasty value of De'Ami Brown, Josh Palmer, and Ramondre Stevenson? I actually have two of those guys on my team now, which is De'Ami Brown and Josh Palmer. I paid $25 for Josh Palmer before Zach says it, and I'm okay with it. They're gonna regret that I paid $25.
Let's just quickly tell people about what happened with Josh Palmer. I feel like you played yourself. Because we play with Fab in this dynasty league that Badaki's referring to, and someone dropped Josh Palmer. We both like Josh Palmer, and I was like, "Oh, Josh Palmer got dropped. I'm about to put a bid on him." And then Badaki's like, "Oh, how much?" I was like, "Yeah, 25, just as like a joke." I was like, "I'm gonna bet 25," and I really bet $2. I think someone else bet $3, and then Badaki bet $25 a day later, and like I think the other highest bid was like $3. And Badaki spent 25 fab on Josh Palmer, so it's
all
pretty
good.
funny.
They're gonna regret it.
You played yourself. Mental. It's a mental part of the game.
It's actually a mental game, but I think we can both agree that we like all three of those guys. De'Ami Brown, I have, like I said, Josh Palmer, I have as well, and Ramondre Stevenson. We hope he's something. Like if Damian Harris doesn't work out, then who's the next guy up? Sony Michel is quote unquote gone.
So this is what we're always struggling with. Opportunity versus how we viewed players before the draft. We said on our podcast yesterday, which we talked about the year 2 quarterbacks, and we got talking about Trey Sermon because there was news about Trey Sermon. When we scouted people, we liked people who were drafted lower than others, and that's really confusing. Let me give you an example. When we scouted Trey Sermon,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, oh, he's good at certain things, but he's really doesn't have some of the it factors. And when we scouted Elijah Mitchell, we were more excited about Elijah Mitchell. Oddly enough, Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon are on the same team, but Trey
Mm-hmm.
Sermon is the assumed starter in the future. So the reason I say all that is because Ramondre Stevenson was a guy when we scouted him, we weren't blown away. We weren't ecstatic to see where he was going to land. I think he kind of fits the LeGarrette Blunt mold.
Yep.
So there's opportunity. I just don't know if we could ever see Ramondre Stevenson carve himself out like a true workhorse running back role. He's not the best pass catching back. He definitely has some weaknesses to his game. But I will say De'Ami Brown, whew, I'm a Washington fan, so this will be biased, but I think that could be one of the steals of the draft, De'Ami Brown in the third round. Listen to Chris Collinsworth talk about that guy. If you don't believe me, believe Chris Collinsworth. This guy, I can't even do his accent, but
you like Deion Brown, bro?
I do. I know you have him, and I don't want to trade for him.
Yeah, you sure,
I
man?
just,
Okay,
I would like to trade for him, but you're gonna try and
I
highball
mean,
me.
historically, for the Washington football team, third round picks, they just always
Third round picks:
come on,
Antonio
man.
Gibson,
Let me know. I
Terry
mean,
McLaurin.
De'Ami
Hey,
Brown's
we
the
do
next
good in the
guy.
third round.
Well, let me know.
If we could just do better in the first round, Dwayne Haskins. Oh my God. Anyway, we answered that question so long, but we're trying to answer you guys' questions with a lot of detail. We like De'Ami. I like De'Ami the best out of those three. I like Josh Palmer second, and Ramondre Stevenson, a guy that could carve out a role. How do you feel?
Yeah, I completely agree with what you said.
Ryan, what's up, Ryan? Thanks for coming to the stream. He says, what kind of running back value could I get if I trade away DJ Moore in a PPR dynasty? My running back room is rough. I personally do not believe in more situation due to a quarterback. You might have come to the wrong people because we don't believe in DJ Moore either.
I think it's hard for us to find an even value.
Let me try and find something, Badaki, but you just talk about
the first person that
situation.
comes up to my head for DJ Moore is I mean, this could be hella low, but I'm thinking a Damian Harris, a Chase Edmonds.
No, don't do Chase Edmonds. That's stupid.
Like Miles Gaskin. Like those are the first guys that come into my head because I don't think I can give up anyone in the top 20, top 25 in my rankings for DJ Moore. At the very moment.
You know what? Here's the thing. DJ Moore is a guy who I feel like is very split in the community. Some people, oh, he's going to break out. Well, you've been saying that for 3 years now. Regardless, he's going to break out. Those are the people you need to find in your league. I'll quickly say, when you're going to trade someone, don't talk to one person in your league. What are you doing? This is why when people buy houses, there's an auction. If you're going to trade a player, put them on the board. Let everyone in your leagues know that this player is available. If you want him, come get him because then you're going to get all the best value for him and you're going to be able to wager your other trades versus other people's. Hey, man, I like this trade. Man. But this guy's giving me a first with this trade. Yeah. What can you do? So there are people who like DJ Moore. We are not lovers of DJ Moore. I think he's talented. I like Sam Darnold, but I just can't get on board with everyone thinking DJ Moore is going to turn into a wide receiver one. Someone that comes to mind is a Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
I would feel like you could maybe even get more. You could get Miles Sanders in a late second, maybe in Dynasty. Miles Sanders comes to mind. What about Kareem Hunt might be too far. Like you might be able to get more value. Yeah, you could get more value.
It's hard. Like
Miles Sanders comes to mind.
Yeah, that was one of the guys on my list. You know what? I would take a chance. Would you take a chance with James Robinson?
No. What if you could get like a Trey Sermon though? If you could get a Trey Sermon, that could be interesting for DJ Moore. Because one's a little bit more improving. Yeah, but still, I think one's a little bit more unproven. So maybe someone is comfortable. If you could do Trey Sermon, I would do it. How about Monty? Is Monty a good option? David Montgomery?
I wouldn't give up Monty for, and my
Yes,
person for
but
DJ Moore.
you wouldn't do that, but other people could.
Yeah,
So
if people like Monty, yeah, I think, or aren't high on Monty, then yeah, I think like
there,
Zach said, you need to know your people in your league, and you need to understand where they're at, who they like, who they don't like on their team, and then kind of go from there.
I'll give you a list of players that I would say if you could get these guys, pull the trigger. It would be Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams. If for some reason someone undervalues him, did I say David Montgomery?
You just said yes.
Okay, so those guys, I would look for those guys.
Right.
Some people believe in DJ Moore, man. So see what you can get. Next question, Badaki. Sorry.
No.
By the way, drop a question. We are going to reply to all the questions. It's awesome that everyone has so many. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I feel like this is awesome. I'm glad people like this. But go ahead.
Gator fan, I believe my home league full PPR is switching to QB, taking away tight ends and adding a second flex instead. Any roster construction / draft advice? So you're switching to a 2 quarterback league. You're taking away the tight end and adding a second flex instead.
Oh, I don't love that, but
I mean,
if it's happening, it's happening.
A roster.
You gotta have tight end in there, man. You gotta have tight end in there. That's. I'm all for taking kickers away or defenses if you want. You gotta have tight end
I
in
miss
your
kickers,
league.
man. I miss kickers. I miss defenses.
Kickers matter. So essentially, you're going to a super flex. Wait, you're going to a 2 quarterback and a super flex league. Any advice?
Get 4 quarterbacks.
No. Wait. Well, no. So you can start 2 quarterbacks, but I believe his flexes are non-quarterback starters. So I would say,
yeah, true.
definitely
so
look for these quarterbacks a lot earlier. Tom Brady becomes a lot more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Joe Burrow become way more valuable. Aaron Rodgers, you should take a chance on him in a league like that. If he comes back, Ryan Tannehill should be more valuable in those leagues. Jalen Hurts in a redraft. Matt Ryan even. Kirk Cousins. So I would say get your quarterbacks earlier in that kind of league. And because you don't have to play a tight end, the only other strategy I could offer is if you don't get one of the big 4 or 5, depending on how you see it, don't take a tight end maybe. Like maybe you don't need a tight end unless it's late. Ends. Yeah, but you can still start him in your flex, is what he's saying.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, that's a little bit confusing, but I hope that helps.
Yeah, I'm understanding it as a tight end is no longer going to be there, so it's only going to be wide receiver, running back. And if it is a tight end, then I don't think I would still want a tight end because I don't know. That's hard. I need to like actually see the layout. That's really confusing in my head. What's your ideal drafting spot? What's your ideal spot to draft from?
So I'll say
1.5.
I hate the edges. Shut up. I hate drafting on the edges. If you draft the 1.1, if it's Dynasty, it's great. You get Patrick Mahomes. If it's redrafts, it's great. You get Christian McCaffrey. So, I mean, drafting at the 1.1 isn't the worst thing in the world. But drafting at like the 12 spot has got to be the worst because you have to reach on those edges so hard, whether it's 1 or 2. Or whether it's 1 or 12, sorry. Every time you make your last pick, you have to wait 24 picks to make your next. And every guy that you're targeting falls. Mm-hmm. So you have to reach so hard when you're drafting on those edges. I don't like it. I think anywhere from 5 to 9, 5 to 8 is really comfy. Because I think you can let the board properly fall to you. And it doesn't matter which league it is. You can actually let players fall to you at proper value. What do you think, Badaki?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think 5 to 8 is a good cozy spot to draft in a dynasty or PPR. In my opinion, I think you just gotta let the board fall to you. I think you are going to reach. I think one advice I have for anyone that's drafting at any of the edges, I would just go for the big names. That's what I did last year, and that kind of worked out for me. You need to know what you need to do. All right, step by step. Step 1, know your league. Step 2, you need to draft people that aren't extremely valuable in your head, that you know that they're valuable. For example, a Raheem Mostert.
Struggling to follow. Keep going.
I'm saying like a Raheem Mostert. I wasn't a huge fan of Raheem Mostert last year.
Okay.
When I say I wasn't a huge fan, like I wasn't excited to start him, but I knew
Yeah.
somebody in my league wanted him. What did I do?
Okay.
I drafted him with the reach because I knew he wanted him at that coming. So what I did was I traded him away, and I got some value where I wanted. So you just need to know your league if you're on the edges, and make sure that you're ready to trade for the people that trade with people that you have on your team that you don't necessarily like.
Yeah. Hopefully that's helpful. All right, it's toxic. Can OBJ can OBJ can OBJ be a top wide receiver this year, or are his big production days over?
Ooh, man.
No,
I
he
mean,
can't be a top wide receiver this year. I mean, anything's possible, but
I'll be honest with you, man.
he's got a lot of things against him being a top wide receiver.
The only way OBJ can be a valuable fantasy wide receiver is with Eli Manning.
Gonna say, please don't say something stupid about the Giants, and then you went ahead and did it. So no, he can't be a top wide receiver.
I
He
don't
might
think
still
so.
be like talent wise in the top 10, top 15, but the injury, more importantly than anything, is the offense that he's in. Jarvis Landry's a good wide receiver, but Baker Mayfield and this Cleveland offense wants to run the ball. Maybe not Baker, but more importantly, the offensive coordinator and the head coach want to run the ball. They have the best running back duo in the backfield. So it's hard to see how he could finish as a top wide receiver in fantasy. I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree with
Um,
you.
yep.
Gators
Justin
fan,
Young.
he's just going through all them. Is your question about Dynasty? Yeah, redraft. Cool. Yeah, Justin Young. Sorry, go for it.
Justin Young, thanks for coming to the live stream. Appreciate you guys. Hey guys, subscribe if you're not subscribed. And if you could help us reach more people, just drop a like on this video. That would mean a ton to us. And if you like these live streams, turn on notifications. That way you won't miss the next time we go live. Would you guys trade away Lamb, Ayuk, and Ronald Jones for Cup, Boyd, and Gaskin? I have Amari Cooper and Kittle on my roster. I just need to write this out because it's hard for me to.
If it's in Dynasty, no. If it's in redrafts, no. In my opinion.
So he says trade away Lamb.
So he has CeeDee Lamb, Brandon
Ayuk,
Ayuk, and Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones.
And he will be receiving Cooper Kupp, Tyler Boyd, and Myles Gaskin.
Oh, no way.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely not. Look, Lamb has the opportunity to be like one of those breakout guys this year. If there's any wide receiver you can look at and say who's going to be this year's Calvin Ridley, who was last year's Chris Godwin, I think CeeDee Lamb kind of has that potential. Ayuk is, there's just no way. Gaskin's not got enough of a gap between Ronald Jones to make that worth your while at all. Definitely pass.
Yeah.
Thomas says, when do you believe is a good time to do a draft? That's a good conversation.
Yeah, great question. I think we kind of, for a redraft, we like to do it right before week 1, right? We like to do it because we kind of know the roles of every single player. We know who's injured. We know who's not injured. We know who's going to be starting week 1. We have a gist of the workload that all these players are going to get. That means you're going to get these guys at their in our heads, their proper value. If Melvin Gordon, for example, gets cut right before week 1, Javonte Williams is going to skyrocket. Okay. And right now he's going at what? 6, 7? He could be going 4, the 3rd round. It sounds crazy. And maybe that's a little bit extra, but
no, he could. If Melvin Gordon was cut, Javonte Williams is not getting out of the 3rd round.
So, like, you need to understand that, like, you want.
Think about if last year Marlon Mack was cut before the season. He was injured, but when he was drafted, people thought Marlon Mack was still there. He obviously got injured, but and he was still going in the 3rd. Sorry, keep going.
No, but yeah, that's what I would do. I would draft right before the season starts, or maybe last preseason game, right after the last preseason game. I think I'm happy to draft right after that. In Dynasty, we don't really mind Huh.
I think Dynasty just, their strategy to doing it before the draft. You don't know where these guys are going to go. There's risk. I like to give everyone enough information to make a decision. So in a Dynasty startup, I would say anytime after the draft is okay. You could also do a Dynasty startup draft right the week before, same as redraft if you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the wrong answer. The great thing about Dynasty is when you do a Dynasty startup, then fantasy never has to stop. So a friendly reminder, a nice little plug. We do have leagues that we run, both redraft and dynasty. The link is in the description of this video. It's the Patreon link.
That's right.
And we really care about those leagues, by the way. We're in those leagues. We're active. We're drafting with you. We're trading with you. We're talking with you. We're all amongst it. We don't just put you in a league and, you know, leave and not care about it. We really care about those leagues. So, and then last thing about dynasty, I think it's safe to do the rookie drafts the week after the NFL draft, which makes the NFL draft way more exciting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Agreed.
so next question. Who's got the next question?
Mike, awesome. Thanks, guys, for your help. Thanks, y'all. Jay Freeman, pick 2, full PPR keeper league, CMC last year of his contract. Kelsey, Diggs, Akers. Wow.
Ooh,
I would get
quickly.
rid of.
Sorry, just quickly though, because it really, really matters where you got these guys in a keeper league, right? If you're saying, oh, I get to keep CMC, but he's the first pick, probably, right? Or if I get to keep Diggs, but I got him in the 7th round. Diggs was going in like the 7th round last year, so it really matters where you got these guys for us to give you advice in a keeper league. But
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I agree. I think when I think of a keeper league, I think first guy I'm gonna say I'm comfortable with is probably Kelsey to leave.
Yeah.
To leave behind.
What?
Yeah, in a keeper league, it's essentially in my head the way I understand keeper league is that essentially a dynasty. You're gonna be keeping this guy year after year after year. So if that happens,
Well,
and then Kelsey
there.
really only has 2 years.
No. That's not really. So essentially,
Does that
keeper
make
leagues
sense?
are very determined by what settings you place. A lot of people have settings where, hey, you can keep a player, but you can only keep the same player 2 years.
Oh, okay. So it all depends on your setting then.
All depends on the settings. But
Right.
no, I mean, look, I'd say you got to keep Kelsey, depending on your settings. If it's definitely Kelsey for me. And then I think it has to be, yeah, we can't really answer this question without knowing what the prices of those guys. Freeman, can you tell us the price of those guys? Because we would really like to give you a good answer. We're going to let you comment down below and go to the next question. We will come to yours right after this next question. Just let us know where you get those guys, because that's going to help us determine
You said
the
no
value. What
penalty.
round are you keeping them?
Yeah. I don't know if that means anything. No penalty.
No, all right. Let's go to Tommy's question. We'll get right back to Freeman. I'm sorry, man. If I get a bad pickup, say 10 out of 12, would you go bad pick?
Bad pick. A bad pick, like a bad pick.
10 out of 12, would you go wide receiver or J.K. Dobbins?
Like at the 10 spot? Are you saying if you get the 110?
Yeah, there's got to be better players available than J.K. Dobbins at the 10 spot. You, in a redraft league, at the 10 spot, you should be looking at guys like Jonathan Taylor might still be there. He's probably gone, but
yeah,
Antonio
Taylor,
Gibson, Zeke, Chubb, Akers,
Mixon.
Eckler.
Yeah, those are guys.
Those are the guys you should be getting around that. I wouldn't think that J.K. Dobbins would be your best option there in a redraft.
Yeah.
Let's see if Freeman had a chance to comment. No, we'll comment Freeman and we'll come back to your question after this next one. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure we actually give him the right answer. And we can't give him the right answer without knowing where he's going to spin that keeper pick at. So let's say you got Diggs and you got him in the 7th and you get to keep him for a 7th round pick this year. That's very crucial for us to give you the right answer.
Well, he says I don't have to give up any picks.
Oh, okay.
So no penalty means he gives up no picks.
And just to clarify, because I really, really want to answer this right for you. Just to clarify, is there a certain limit on the amount of years you get to keep people? Because that would be very important. Because, yeah, that would just be very important for us to know. Is there a limit? Hey, you can only keep a certain amount of guys this many years, we're gonna answer your question. I promise you. I just want to give you the right answer.
He said
Um,
4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, I mean,
I think for
I'm just
me,
trying to find the
it
question
would
again.
have to be CMC. I'll keep CMC, or I don't know. I'm thinking about Kelsey. Like, yeah, in a dynasty perspective, is he really going to be here for the next 4 years? There's already talk about his predecessor in this. Was it Noah Gray? This Noah
Here's the
Gray
thing,
guy.
though. You can still trade Kelsey. Like Kelsey will
Yeah,
be
that's the
the best
thing.
tight end this year. So even if you wanted to trade him next year as your keeper, I'm saying you have to take Kelsey, man. In my opinion, you have to grab Kelsey, and then it's really a toss up between CMC and Diggs. But I think you got to go CMC and Kelsey, in my opinion. But what do you think? Because
Yeah,
we'll give them
for
two different opinions here.
for me, it would have to be CMC in Diggs, because I don't think in the, yeah, you can trade away Kelsey, but it's hard to really like think. Let's just say he's in year one of this in the keeper league, then it's worth keeping Kelsey,
Yes.
right? So then yes, a CMC Kelsey. But if you're in year three, I would take CMC Diggs.
Yeah,
You know,
it
like,
depends on how many years you can take Kelsey for sure. This is your
yeah,
last year of keeping Kelsey. Then that does matter. But I hope that helps.
yeah, hopefully.
All right, so third round pick Magic and De'Ami Brown. I know. I'll shout it from the rooftops. I love De'Ami. Kadarius Toney shouldn't have been a first round pick. I think he should have been a mid late second rounder. Do you guys agree? I agree. I don't think he should have been a first round pick, especially with the wide receiver talent that was still on the
Yeah,
board. You passed up on Rashad Bateman,
Elijah Moore.
uh, Elijah Moore, Rondell Moore.
I
Yeah,
think
there's no way in my eyes he should have been
yeah, I
that high.
wanted Elijah Moore. I was banking on Elijah Moore, but Kadarius Toney was a guy on my list that if they took him, I was still happy with. If they, I knew they were going to take a wide receiver, and if they would have reached for a St. Brown or a um who's the other guy? Gosh,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I would have rather have had Rashad Bateman, Rondell Moore, Elijah Moore
yeah,
all over
I agree. Like, I knew
Tony.
obviously the
So
top guys weren't going to be there, but Kadarius
yeah,
Toney was on the list. He was the last guy on the list that I was happy with. So am
yeah,
I excited for Kadarius Toney? Yes. Am I like in love with the pick? No,
mm,
but I still like it.
yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna keep answering your questions. Drop them if you have them. I think we're gonna try and do another how many minutes, Badaki? Do we need to set a time frame, or are we good?
No, I'm good. I don't really need to do. I think
Okay.
maybe once we finish answering all these questions, we can probably kind of wrap it up and see how we
Yeah.
go from there.
So keep asking questions. We'll answer them. If you could do us a favor, just drop a like. That would be awesome way to support, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Turn on notifications if you don't want to miss these live streams in the future. Um,
Let's just see.
watch the tape. I don't think Tony does one thing better than Elijah Moore. We agree.
Oh
We
yeah,
love
a
Elijah
hundred
Moore.
percent, 100%. Elijah Moore is, in my opinion, mm, this is a really bold statement. Elijah Moore, in my opinion, is the best wide receiver in the draft. Um, like,
Um,
and that's like I said, that's really bold. It's, and let me not say it's over Jamar Chase or it's over Devonta Smith, but he is the guy.
okay.
Is that okay? Is that okay with you?
I'm just gonna let you say that. I mean, I don't agree at all, but
Yeah, it's okay.
you like him
I
obviously
love the
more
guy.
than me.
I think he's amazing.
I want to debate it so bad, but it would go for so long, so I'm gonna leave
I'm
it.
just saying, like, yeah, I'm not comparing him to Jamar Chase. So okay, so maybe it's saying that
You just said he's the best wide
I know,
receiver in the draft.
maybe not saying he's the best wide receiver in the draft. Is maybe that saying is wrong. He, out of the top tier guys like the Jamar Chase and Devonta Smith, he's the best wide receiver after like the superstars. Can we agree on that? Because quote unquote, they're the
Maybe
superstars.
I still like Bateman better as a talent,
Oh, yeah.
and I still like Waddle better.
I don't like Waddle. I'd rather have Elijah Moore than Waddle.
Okay, well, yeah, we disagree, and that's a common thing here at Fantasy Lunch. But that's
That's
good.
okay.
Two different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Arnav, thanks for coming to the stream. He says, "Would you guys do Brady and Fant for Herbert? I'm getting Herbert and my backup quarterback and tight end is Burrow." Oh God, that
If
was
it
hard to read.
if it's
So
dynasty, yes. I'm saying if it's dynasty, yes, I'm taking him.
no, I don't think this is Dynasty. You guys do have to clarify for us, but if this is redraft, no way.
Yes, if it's redraft, no way.
I I have Brady ranked ahead of Herbert in a redraft league, not in Dynasty, but in redraft.
That's
If it's
PPR.
Dynasty, yes. If it's redraft,
This
no.
is PPR redraft. He just said it.
If it's redraft, absolutely not. You're not getting better. I don't think you're getting worse in that trade.
Mm-hmm. You are.
Ryan Miolzi. I inherited this team, so no offense taken about DJ Moore. DJ Moore for OBJ? Absolutely not. DJ Moore is the younger wide receiver. He's got the better future. And redraft and dynasty, DJ Moore is a clear answer there. Tommy Gunn agrees. It's Toxic says, I think Javonte Williams has the potential to be the number one running back coming out of this class. Broncos fans, though, so I could be biased. Look, we've been talking about Javonte Williams for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And we are with you. We love Javonte Williams. Personally, I don't think it was so clear that Najee was the best running back in this class. I think it was very much a toss-up between Javonte and Najee. And people can come at me and say whatever they want, but I think you agreed as well. You were like, I think Javonte's there as a 1A, 1B with Najee, or am I reading you wrong?
I think that in my head, Najee was a clear guy. I like Najee. He can do everything. He can do everything and more. Javonte Williams, he can do all the things that Najee can do. He just doesn't have Najee's body. So I think that's
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I love Javonte. And look, I think in redraft leagues, he's a great value the way mocks are falling right now because I really do think he's obviously more talented than Melvin Gordon right now. And I think he's going to take the job by mid-year, if not earlier. In Dynasty, I was hyped that I got him in the 5th round somehow.
Yeah.
So we both love Javonte.
All right. What's the next question? Ryan. Sorry, this isn't offered, but the guys were saying DJ Moore was near bottom 25.
Okay, he's talking about the OBJ. Yeah, no. So, just to clarify, that is in a redraft. We were talking about OBJ. But the guys around DJ Moore in a dynasty league for me, is like a Jalen Waddle, Chase Claypool, Kenny Golladay, Deontay Johnson. Cooper Kupp, Julio Jones.
Yeah, agreed.
So hopefully that helps.
Thomas, this hasn't really been brought up, but what defense would you take? And maybe a little bias, take the Pats defense as a sleeper. Would you take
defenses? I haven't thought about defense. I mean, we obviously have our gauge on them, but I haven't had a defensive question in fantasy for a while.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm going to be honest, I couldn't tell you where these defenses are falling in mocks.
In my
because
opinion,
we haven't been mocking with defenses.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think there's 3 top teams, or the one team that comes to mind right now is the Rams. I like the Rams. I think they brought everyone.
I think he's asking sleeper defense. I don't think they're going to be available as a sleeper defense.
The New York Football Giants. And that's not even being biased. I'm not even lying about that. Like, that's me, like, genuine. I would say the Washington Football Team too, but that's not a sleeper defense either. Like, the Washington Football Team is a top defense, so like it's not out of the question. I truly believe that the Giants have a sleeper defense.
I'll give you a true sleeper. I'd say the Chargers. The Browns will be criminally underrated as a defense in fantasy this year. I feel it. The Browns. Dolphins will be underrated. And if you can grab the Colts still, yeah, grab them. I hope that helps. We're not very.
I feel like
we haven't done our defensive research yet.
Yeah,
this offseason.
I feel like all those teams they were the top defenses besides the Chargers. Browns kind of got a little push in a couple games.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways, so
yeah, Jimmy Jack drafting on the edges. You either start a run or end one.
Yeah. but you
Agreed.
can't draft comfortably. That's the issue. But I agree.
Yeah.
Washington football defense. Tommy says agree. Shout out to the Washington football team. Mike Drummond says, "What do you guys think about waiting on tight end for your last pick and pick up Gerald Everett or Troutman?" So I'll
So
quickly
okay.
say,
Yeah, go for it.
sorry, you go ahead.
No, that's actually I guess I'm gonna have to give it up because I do this for a living. That's actually a strategy that I'm going to be doing in redrafts this year. I'm going to be picking up Joe Everett because I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket for
All
Joe
my
Everett.
baskets in one egg. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
all my
fit them all. I'm
baskets.
gonna scram them in there.
Yeah. um, I think there is going to be Joe Everett is going to be criminally undervalued going into drafts this year. I think he's going. I have a little thing on my fantasy dynasty because I have him in dynasty, and it's a joke. I don't think it's true, but I said he's going to have more touchdowns than DK Metcalf. Imagine if that's actually true, which is crazy. Which I can.
It's a joke, right?
No, it is a joke. It is a joke. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's just bands. But I think he's going to be targeted a lot by Russell Wilson. He's going to be a guy there that he can fit that molds. If you really look into Joe Everett, he has that wide receiver tight end body. You know,
Yeah,
he can move.
I'm gonna quickly say something on this. I think this is the first year for as long as I can remember that there are proper tiers to the tight end position. So obviously you have your tier one, your Kelsey, Waller, Kittle. This is redraft I'm speaking about.
Mm-hmm.
Your tier two is like your Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts, T.J. Hawkinson. Your tier three is your Noah Fant, Dallas Goedert. But tier four is even decent. You got Logan Thomas, Jonnu Smith, Mike Gesicki, Evan Ingram. So I don't know, man. I actually think I'm comfortable drafting a tight end based off of tier value this year. So
Okay.
obviously, I'm trying to get one of the top three in the first 3 rounds somehow, or maybe, yeah, if that's at all possible. Then I think Andrews, Pitts, Hawkinson. If I can get those guys in the sixth, I'm happy. Fant and Goddard, if I can get those guys in like the eighth, ninth, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I can get like, a Logan Thomas with my third to last pick or a Jonnu Smith, I'm happy. Otherwise, yeah, I can punt the position and get like one of these high upside guys in the Everett and a Troutman, Higbee, Cole Kmet. But I think this is the first year where there's going to be pretty good tier opportunities for tight ends.
Yeah, I still think that a lot of tight ends are going to be taken earlier. At least this is in my opinion. Like I think Jonnu Smith is going to go earlier than expected. Robert Tonyan is going to be earlier than expected. Mike Gesicki is earlier than expected. I do have those guys higher. I think they're going to go in your normal tight end range. All those guys, like it's always true. Once a tight end goes in around like sixth, seventh round, then they all go, and then you start.
Well, that's why I'm saying you draft off of tiers.
No, I understand, but I think that I'm happy to kind of pass on those guys and really take a chance on one specifically Joe Everett. I wouldn't take a chance on Adam Troutman at the moment. I think he has more of a dynasty value right now, but I think
Okay.
someone like a Joe Everett is going to be taken late and be missed.
Yeah. All right. In Dynasty, this is Gator Fan. In Dynasty, would you trade Fant for Robert Woods? I just drafted Pitts, and my top wide receivers are Metcalf, Chark, Mike Williams, and Debo. I think you can get a lot more value than Robert Woods, to be honest. Just off the top of my head, let me kind of write this down. I think Noah Fant should be valued much higher in a
Yeah,
Dynasty league.
I was about to say. I mean, Fant's younger. Robert Woods a little bit.
I think Robert Woods is like 29.
Yeah, so I think you can definitely get a lot more for Fant there, Gator fan. If not, what would you need for Fant?
That's
Hey
a good
lady,
question.
hi. Come here.
I think like Fant's a young tight end that has the tight. Oh, is that Blazy?
Oh, Blazy. Hi.
Oh my God, she's so cute.
No, don't bite the chain. Anyways, Car, let's
I
get.
should come to the studio soon, and we should. I just miss her.
Yeah, bro.
Um,
She's getting big.
she's getting big. So Noah Fant is a young tight end, has the tight end build to be a top 6 tight end as in the future. I don't think you trade that for an aging wide receiver 2
Agreed.
in fantasy. So
Get a pick, get something.
get a pick, but
Um, get a
you
younger
could
receiver.
try and get like an Elijah Moore. Try and grab an Elijah Moore. Try and grab a
Any of the Rondales?
DJ Moore. I know
Any
we're
of the
not
Moors?
high on him. What'd you say?
I think Noah Fant is really valuable there, and I think you can get a lot of value for Noah Fant, not
If
just
you
the
could get
Robert
T
Woods.
Higgins for Noah Fant, that I would pull the trigger on that. I feel like that's really good. But maybe we're overvaluing Noah Fant compared to how your league does. But I
Yeah.
mean, this is a guy you shouldn't trade away for Robert Woods. No way. Um, Hope that helps. Tommy Gunn, that is a good defense, but I'm just nervous because I do give up points to other offenses. Gator fan, if not, what would you need for fan? Oh, you already read that. Jimmy
Hmm.
Jack, thought I heard Javonte Williams broke more tackles than anyone in the NCAA or something. He did. Yeah, I believe he broke more tackles than any player last year. He's a monster. Um, that's
And
true,
he did
and
it
he did it
again.
in a committee with Michael Carter. Michael Carter and Javonte Williams are special running backs,
Bro,
guys.
isn't it crazy that we both have somebody from that backfield?
Mm-hmm.
You
I
have
got Javonte.
Javante,
You got Michael Carter.
Michael Carter.
I'm
Man.
gonna have him in more leagues too if I
Hmm.
can. Do you guys think Wentz will have a bounce back year?
Oh. Um,
Ooh,
Define bounce back. Nah, I think
divine.
I think I think you'll have a decent year. It will be significantly better than last year. Obviously, last year was terrible. He's not going to go back to like his one or two amazing, really good years. Ow, sheesh. Sorry,
I'll say
Blaze.
this: everything's in place for him to have a bounce back year. I love him in Dynasty. A little bit more worried about him in a redraft,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got the offensive line, one of the top in the league. He's got his coach back. He's got his Alshon Jeffrey and Michael Pittman. He's got Jonathan Taylor. I mean, everything is there for him to succeed. So I'm definitely more excited about him in Dynasty than redraft, but he's a guy you could, if you're going late quarterback strategy in redraft, he could be a guy that you could rely on, late.
Yeah.
Mochi, what's up, my guy? Who's winning the Super Bowl this year? Washington football team. Jokes.
Get it.
Uh,
I think
Chiefs or Chiefs or Bucks. It's hard to see another answer.
at the moment it's I can't say who. I think it's still a little bit too early for me. Let me get a feel for the teams, and I would 100% answer that question for you
Okay.
in 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. I'd say Chiefs or Bucks. PPR. We answered your question, Mochi. Sorry, man. We're just trying to get through all the questions. Gator says, from my home league, it should be two quarterback, two running back, two wide receiver, two regular flex.
Yeah, see, so there's no tight ends in that
Dude,
league.
regular flex means you can flex a tight end.
Two regular effects. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. Sheesh. Well,
That's so
hello there.
interesting. Why? Hello there. Hello, Dexon. Bet Washington football team 50-1 for a small wager, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, you could make some good money off that. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it could be fun.
Yeah.
Rumor has it that Joe Montana is coming back to play for the Patriots. That's obviously not gonna happen, but
You just never know.
that would be hilarious. That
Pick
would
him
be
up. Pick
hilarious.
him up in Dynasty, boys.
Tommy Gunn says Colts defense. Jimmy Jack. All right, we'll probably finish the stream here because we got no more questions. But Jimmy Jack said short term Hollister beats Knox for tight end on Buffalo this year. Played with Josh Allen at Wyoming. I think they really want to develop Knox.
Knox. Yep.
I really think they want to develop Dawson Knox. So I'm gonna have to slightly disagree just because I think he's probably got the
The
bigger
edge.
potential long term. I get the connection, but I think the connection is more why he's on this team, not why he will be a star in that offense or like the tight end one in that offense. But it's a good sleeper pick. But I just
Mm-hmm.
think it would make more sense for them as a franchise to develop Dawson Knox.
Yep. I agree.
But this was cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for coming out. We're gonna be doing this every Tuesday night, every Wednesday in Australia time. If you guys don't know, if you're watching, we are in Sydney, Australia. We do fantasy football all the way out here, but we cater for your time.
And we are American.
Uh-huh.
We're stuck in Australia.
I'm American.
I'm
America.
American. You're from Brooklyn. I'm walking you.
Yeah, I'm from New York. Zach's from all over America. Kansas
All
City,
over.
LA, Virginia, Florida. I don't know
Virginia.
where you're from.
I'm everywhere, man. Um, Brady or Holmes? rematch possible meet again, I think you mean Mahomes, I believe. And yes, that's I think the most likely scenario. It's really hard. Like it probably won't happen, right? Like it will probably. There's a greater chance that it's different teams in the Super Bowl next year than there is that it is the
Yeah.
same teams.
Hmm.
But it's hard to see two different teams in the Super Bowl, so I think it could happen. And I think Mahomes is going to get revenge if it does happen, if the offensive line is healthy.
Yeah.
But you can't bet against the GOAT either, can you?
No, you can't. It's
Anyway,
really
just
hard
quick
to.
plug, guys. We wanted to do these live Q&As to kind of help out people. And hopefully you guys really enjoyed it. Again, we just want to plug a couple things to you. The first one is if you want unlimited, a direct line to us through DMs. If you got anything, hey, what do you think about this? We can reply to you in DMs. That is a Patreon tier that you can sign up to. The description is in this video, or the link is in the description of this video. It's the Patreon link. If you also want to play in a Dynasty or a redraft league with us, that is also the same link, the Patreon link. We are going to be doing live streams 3 times a week. We'll have another live stream tomorrow. It's a redraft PPR mock draft, so come out and join us. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Drop the notification so you won't miss it. Thank you, Mark. He says you guys are awesome.
Huge love.
Number one big fan. Shout out to Daniel. Big shout out from Brooklyn. I love that. Mahomes
Big
had
shout out
19
from
dropped.
Brooklyn. Yeah, I have no idea who you are, being. That's funny. I have no idea who that person is, but they calling me Daniel.
Maybe they're from Brooklyn.
They calling me Daniel, so they somebody from a long time ago. Who are you?
Badek like cake. His name is Badek
Yeah,
like
people
cake. Maybe
call
it's just someone from Brooklyn. I mean, I thought about that.
Big shout out from Brooklyn. That's funny.
Mahomes had 19 dropped. Or something. I don't know. I think you mean Mahomes was the most pressured quarterback in any Super Bowl ever. That is true last year. Buffalo will be in the Super Bowl this year. Interesting. Thank you for all your information. Very helpful.
Whoa, I think I know who this is. Sorry. I think that's my niece. Is that Madison?
Really?
I kid. I'm serious. I think that's Madison. Yeah. All of patreon.com/fantasyland fam. I'll put in the chat, by the way.
If you guys enjoy like our content, if you enjoy our content, we do have a podcast, and a lot of people are starting to catch on to that podcast. The link is also in the description of this video, depending on what podcast platform you prefer. But we have a podcast that is worldwide available. Just type in Fantasyland Football. It's your brother.
Yeah, that's my brother. It's my brother on like my niece's YouTube account. What's happening? I'll call you. I'll call you after this.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah. Appreciate y'all. This was fun.
All right. Later, y'all.
Later, Zeus.